Aak baby, Aak Samson. I'm back again. Uh, Shout outs to Mike Platinum Perry. You put Orlando on your back and you went and stood on your square. I bet on you. What I didn't know was that nigga was 6 times larger than you. God damn. God damn. Do they make a different league, nigga, for regular size, nigga? Nigga, who knew that motherfucker Jake Paul was a behemoth, nigga? God damn, that nigga's big. Yo, that nigga big as shit, and like he ain't got no choice but to hit hard as shit. So okay, here's the thing. Mike Perry is a bare knuckle monster. He was a MMA respectable fighter. He had a respectable career in the UFC, and bare knuckle boxing, he seems to be born for that shit. He's a born fighter. He's a warrior. That nigga does not move his head, and he keeps his hands right here. All right? In the sport of boxing, the first thing you gotta do is put your motherfucking hands up and move your goddamn head, and that nigga wasn't having none of that. And so the first thing Jake Paul did was hit that nigga hard as shit in his head and knocked him down. First round, I said, goddamn. But the thing that I knew was going to happen was Mike Perry was going to get back up and keep fighting. That's exactly what he did. And he kept fighting until the ref said, I've seen enough, Mike Perry, and saved him from himself. So shout outs to Mike Perry, all the heart in the world. I bet on you, and this is why. Jake Paul cannot fight backing up. He doesn't like pressure. He doesn't like to get hit. All these things have remained true throughout all his fights. He has gotten better at the things he's good at, which is a piston of a jab and a hard-ass right hand. He does a little check left hook. It works. You know what I'm saying? And he's really good at that. He's good at timing those things, and he's good at the distance. He's not that great anywhere else. And the holes in his game seem so obvious, and I just keep saying somebody, any seasoned fighter, is going to be able to take advantage of that. But obviously not. It's just MMA niggas are not equipped to box. It's just two different sports. They don't have the little things. They, like, to the average viewer, to the layman, if you will, to the casual, they're throwing punches. Just throw those same punches. It's different in boxing. When you throw your punch, you have to move your head off center. When you move, you have to move a certain way that your feet are under you. Mike Perry was chasing after him and almost fell on the ground, and then Jake Paul hit him on his way down and it got called a knockdown. It wasn't even really a knockdown. He literally just stepped and his foot, like, he went on the side of his foot, like how someone goes for a layup and they roll their ankle. Like, that's what it looked like he did. That's because he doesn't have good footwork. As a boxer, if you don't have good footwork, you're going to be worse off for it. So Canelo, he's slow-footed, but he has great upper trunk work. Then he got old and his reflexes aren't as good. Now he gets punched on a lot. He eats some shits, but he gets punched on a lot. Even then, he rolls with him and blocks a lot. He keeps his hands up. Mike Perry did none of that, except for, I believe it was the third round. He had gotten dropped, I think, but he got up and he started fighting different. And I think, shout outs to JT and his technical boxing, I think is what he's called out here. He's the person who made Mike Perry more technical and able to win these fights. He got up, he relaxed, he started watching Jake Paul's punches. Jake Paul throw the punch, block, 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 throw another punch, block, punch, block. Then Jake Paul threw a punch because Mike Perry was watching him. He moved his head and hit Jake Paul with a hook that he wasn't expecting. Beautiful. And that's when I say, let's fucking go. Because Jake Paul was getting tired because Mike Perry was applying pressure to him and making him move and making him have to get out the way. The problem was Jake Paul was 10 times the size of Mike Perry.
40 pounds heavier than that.
So every punch that Jake Paul landed, he was taking a chunk out of this nigga Mike Perry's mental acuity, my nigga. And every punch Mike Perry landed was sending Jake Paul's head like this. And Jake Paul was like, I'm still here. He was tired of shit, though. But, I mean, there's weight classes for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. There's weight classes for a reason. And I believe that someone's going to do it. I think it might be 58-year-old Mike Tyson because he still can do the thing. Like, to beat Jake Paul, you just need a... Okay, let me give Jake Paul his props, too. he has improved so much from when he first started. And it was hard for me to believe. It was hard for most people to even believe or fathom that he could become a pro boxer. But he's not a pro boxer per se. He's an amateur boxer that's doing pro fights against people who can't box. It's a beautiful grift. And you know what I'm saying? He tried to deviate and go get terrible boxers, but that didn't work. You need the name power to go against. This is where he's selling, and this is what I understood the whole time, that I think he forgot for about 2 fights. And that's why he ended up losing to, what's his name? Tommy Fury. He forgot it for a fight or 2. Your grift is making everyone say, well, surely this guy can beat him because he's been fighting for 150 years. And you've been fighting for 4 years. In my head, that doesn't match up. Nah. In the fight game, the young eat the old, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? This ain't fucking chess. You know what I mean? The longer you were doing it, the lesser you're able to do it as well. So he's been beaten. He beat up Anderson Silva. That's just sad. But everyone believed Anderson Silva was going to win. Why? Because we were just like, yo, look at this nigga. He doesn't have the things that you need to be a good boxer. But what he does well, and he's a fighter. At this point, he's a fighter. And the reason why I say that, because you can say whatever you want to say about his flaws. 90% of you who are watching this, thanks for watching, he would beat your motherfucking ass, nigga, if you saw him in the street. Think he's soft because he's some corny white boy from YouTube or he from Disney, and he uses that to his advantage. He uses that. He plays up that role because he knows that helps sell the fights. What he forgot was, when I'm selling these fights, I have to make them believe that this is old school wrestling. Everything's professional wrestling. I'm the heel. I have to make you believe that the good guy or the guy you want to see beat me can actually do it. If I don't sell the fact that he can actually do it, I lose in the box office. So then what's the point of doing this? So he tried to go get old washed up boxers. It's not going to work. You got to go get somebody that people respect. Mike Perry's actually the perfect fight. He's a perfect opponent for him, other than Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is he old as fuck and do steroids still work? That's what that fight is. The question of that fight is, do steroids work the way they used to, and is he too old? And the answer is yes to both. Steroids do work, and yes, he's too old. But I just, again, and maybe I'm falling for the grift. Yeah. I just believe in my heart the holes that are right there for everybody to take advantage of, somebody like Mike Tyson can take advantage of. Tommy Fury took advantage of it, and Tommy Fury sucks. But Tommy Fury has 4 or 5 good years of boxing experience. And that's the difference between Tommy Fury, Mike Perry, Nate Diaz. I don't know what the fuck happened with Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz looked like he didn't even belong fucking walking into a boxing gym and admiring the fucking portraits on the wall, nigga. Like, oh my God, this is a nice ring. Get the fuck out, Nate Diaz. That's what he looked like, my nigga. That's what he looked like when he fought Jake Paul. But then he fought Jorge, and they had a wonderful fight. Nobody watched it. You want to know why? Because we believe both of them were washed up. They were coming off losses. That shit was one of the best fights I've seen this year in any genre, any sport. That's one of the best fights I saw this year. It was entertaining as shit. Them niggas threw over 1,000 punches combined. It was great. When he fought Jake Paul, he was trash. So he shouldn't have took that fight. If he was injured or whatever, or if he was out of shape, nah, he shouldn't have took that fight. Also, Jake Paul's 150 times bigger than him. And then Jake Paul started calling out Masvidal. At this point, I don't even want to see that. Because Masvidal can still fight. But Jake Paul, yeah, at this point, Jake, when you first started, I was okay with you fighting smaller dudes because you was a novice. But at this point, you are intermediate, my nigga. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's crazy? Who might actually have a chance to, nah. If his chin could hold up, I think Rockhold might actually beat him.
Nah. Nah, you're trying to get Rock. You don't like Rockhold, my nigga? He personally offended you, my nigga? You trying to get Rockhold murdered, my nigga? Yeah, nah. If his chin can hold it. What the fuck? If? That nigga ain't even got a chin, nigga. That nigga has a ghost and a whisper where his chin used to be, nigga. It ain't even a ghost. It's just I used to be a chin. Nah, that shit is gone. And yeah, nah, he has no chance. No chance. He fights like this. That's the other thing. Do you think what's him Champa can beat him?
Who
Alex Pereira.
Alex Pereira?
Yeah, Pereira. What nigga? What you went to motherfucking Portuguese school, nigga?
I don't know, man. Like I honestly think it's gotten to. Well, actually, yes, I do, because the thing is, Pereira gets that big. You know what I'm saying?
Pereira gets that big. Pereira has
Pause.
pause. Pereira has ring craft. Like he has actual art to what he's doing.
Yeah.
My problem is
He gets hit a lot. Yeah.
he gets hit a lot. But the thing is though, okay, Jake Paul throws one punch, he stabs it in, and then tries to jump back. It's so timable.
Yeah.
Mike Perry timed him.
Yeah.
In the midst of getting pummeled, Mike Perry timed him.
But that's also my thing too. Is just kind of like he's because Jake Paul is always fighting a smaller person. When he gets hit, it's not really like he's happy. Like
We saw what happened.
Yeah, even with you getting hit by a smaller person, you be backing off sometimes.
No,
Like,
he hates being pressured. He hates fighting backwards, and he hates being hit.
If a nigga your size hits you, like he gonna be like if he gets hit twice by a nigga his size,
When
some remote power, like
when Woodley hit him,
yeah,
it was almost quiet for him.
running away, yeah.
That was the most trouble he's ever been in.
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy? He hasn't. The worst he's looked since then is when in the fight with Mike Perry.
Yeah.
He was tired.
Yeah.
He was tired. I don't know because he's not used to carrying around that weight. He was fighting at 180. The reason why he didn't knock out Nate Diaz is because he was at 185. That nigga stepped in the ring at 220, 225.
Yeah.
Like, he was a large human being, my nigga. And he's only 6'1". He looked like a giant in that motherfucker.
But the other thing too is like, cause some of this, once again, is like, all this stuff is skewed because even people saying that he's a powerful puncher, you're hitting a nigga that weighs. You're punching a nigga repeatedly that weighs 20 pounds less than you.
20 pounds less than you?
And you can't put him out.
20 pounds less than you and is not moving his head at all.
Imagine if he had to fight somebody that was 20. Like, imagine if he got in there with Francis Ngannou.
He went, come on.
You die, my nigga. Imagine if it was like, it was skewed. Like, you
Come
get
on.
hit twice and it'd be over.
Notice he been calling out all ex-MMA fighters and all that shit. He
They're
never,
small, yeah.
he
They're
never,
like 2 weight classes smaller than him.
that nigga don't, he act like he don't even know how to pronounce Francis's name, my nigga.
But here's what I'm saying. It's just like, even the stuff where it's like, he's knocking people out. Like, he's just like, oh, he knocked this person out cold. Like, okay, my nigga, but still, like, it took
That's a
you-
good fight for Francis, actually.
It took you a whole bunch of rounds to do this. Francis would literally kill him, my nigga. Like,
Yeah,
that'd be a murder, my nigga. Like, he would punch his head off. Like,
That's disgusting.
his head would like literally. The nigga might just explode like into confetti.
What if they put a weight limit on Francis?
If they put a weight limit on Francis?
Yeah, like what if he had to be like 230?
Okay, so you die at 230 then, my nigga. Like what?
I'm saying it'd be a fair fight though.
It would not.
How tall is Francis? 6'4"?
See this, but this is what I'm talking about. It's not no fair fight, nigga. Like,
That's not.
like, come on, man. Like, you can't. If you are 40 pounds.
Rotman Jr.
Yeah.
would have destroyed him.
Yeah.
And that's why they tried to make him weigh way less than he could ever weigh.
If you can't put it, like, if it's taking you this long, right? Or if it's taking you so many punches to put away somebody who's that much smaller than you, I really don't think you have power. You know what I'm saying?
He does power. He just doesn't know how to have power in every single shot he throws. He has to really use, when you watch him, he has to really go, "Ugh." That's because he's still
Well,
intermediate.
I'll say the thing about his power is skewed because, like, I feel like power is like, the dude weighs the same amount as you, and it's like if you touch, like, Pereira has power.
Listen,
Like,
you're talking about extreme power. Which like, for example, Blachowicz
Yeah.
from MMA, UFC, if y'all don't know, he has power, but he's not like knocking everybody out that he touches, but he has power. He has pop in his punches.
Yeah.
What about that? Can we just say that Jake Paul has pop in his punches?
I won't even give him that, bro. Like, it's,
My nigga, he clearly has pop in his punches.
If I'm fighting somebody and I outweigh them by 10,
He dropped Tyson Fury's brother.
okay, my nigga. Like,
But that's reasonable size, comparable size.
I guess so.
He
Yeah.
dropped him.
Okay, well, I'll give it to him. If, like,
And that's someone who's of his skill
actually,
set.
no, I still won't. Yeah, nah.
No, there's similar skilled,
Yeah.
similar experience, and then he lost to him.
Yeah.
So it helps your point, but it helps me in saying that, listen, he's not just terrible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
we just underestimate him because he's corny.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, I think he's corny on purpose. Like, he knows what he's doing. He's doing that shit on purpose. And I get it. I get it. I get it. Let's get this shit. Let's get this shit. Huh. Shout outs to Jake Paul. Fair play to you, bruv.
Fair play to you, bro.
Shout outs to Mike Perry. You put a hell of a fight, and I want to say this: it was entertaining. And at the end of the day, this is prize fighting. And as long as you entertain it, there's a role for you. As long as you entertain it and you don't look like Joe Biden when he's giving a speech, keep fighting. But don't go up that far again, Mike. That's not for you. Over 200 pounds is not the land where you stay. Because your style works because you could take those punches from 185 pounders and such. Over 200 pounds and a boxer's, nah, you need some other way to win that fight other than just straight. Mike Perry couldn't land because you know what? He couldn't let his hands go because he's used to eating one or two to hit. He couldn't afford one or two, and he knew it too. Even though he was eating them, he understood what was happening. That's how I know he had pop. Mike Perry's not the type to not hit you. Mike Perry was pop, 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 and then not doing nothing. You want to know why? Because he was scared of what was coming back. The thing is, Jake Paul is not a person that's going to put together combinations. His combinations look horrible. And when Mike Perry was hurt, the reason why he got out of those rounds is because Jake Paul stopped being able to hit him. Once Mike Perry was just on defense, even while he was wobbly, Jake Paul was tired, A, and B, he's just not that accurate. But he's accurate with that one jab, that one thing. And even then, you could see it coming before he throws it. That's why I still think, and again, this is why Jake Paul is such a genius matchmaking, choose his next fight. Because I still think Mike Tyson could probably do it. You know what I mean? I just think he knows the little things that make that available to you. And when Jake Paul throws that dumbass, it might be fast, I don't care, but it's like he does the same thing. It's just throws a punch, and then he goes back here. Block, follow him in, cut off the ring. That's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do. And Mike Perry didn't know how to cut off the ring because he never had to do it like that before. Like, boxers know how to cut the ring off. And now you have no choice but to fight out the corner or off the ropes. And what's Jake Paul going to do? He's going to run. He's going to try to run. He's going to get tired. And Mike Tyson can do this for 8 rounds. If he can't do nothing else, Mike Tyson going to hit his body. And I think if Mike Tyson touches him, because the power is the last thing to go, he might not be as fast, but he really don't got to be. Mike Perry's not fast, and he landed on Jake Paul. He just wasn't throwing. When he did throw, he mostly landed. When he threw a real punch, like, there's a lot of times he was throwing punches off balance because, yeah. And then another thing, like, he says, like, Jake Paul told Mike Perry, yo, I want to do bare knuckle or MMA with you. And he doesn't want to do that. Like, in the boxing match, Mike Perry was getting past his punches and then grabbing his body. A few times he threw him to the ground and shit. Like, you could just see that Mike Perry looked so comfortable doing that. And I was like, they ain't that tight. They ain't that party, my nigga. That ain't that kind of party, my nigga.
I don't believe none of that MMA shit. None of that,
honestly,
he ain't doing nothing other than boxing.
Honestly, I believe he believes because they're smaller than him, he can do it. That's what I believe. And I'm sure he wouldn't be talking that. He's calculated, dog. Like, you could say whatever you want about them, but what you can't say is that they're dumb and they don't know what's good for their brand. And I think he would do it. He offered Nate $1 million. And Nate wouldn't do it without the UFC, but I think he honestly believes that I could probably keep them from taking me down and I could punch on them. I think that's what he thinks. I know that's not true, but I think that's what he thinks. I think 220 or not, Mike Perry taking you down, you're going to sleep after that. He's putting you in some type of submission or punching you in your face real hard. So that's not the role for you. You've been practicing. It would be the exact, that's so crazy. I wish we could see the reverse. To see some boxers come over to MMA,
That shit ain't gonna happen.
that ain't ever gonna
That's
happen.
also why I hate this. Like, look,
But Saudi Arabian money might make it happen.
yeah.
Because Saudi Arabia is about to make Francis Ngannou fight John Jones. So, cross promotion. UFC does not do that, but that money talk. You offer him enough money, Mayweather can fight McGregor. Fuck it. But yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Florida's still representing. Fuck that Mike Perry. You know what I'm saying? Take the rest of the year off, come back strong next year. Nothing ever happened. Same thing with Ngannou. Take the rest of the year off, come back, nothing ever happened. Y'all still them niggas. I still fuck with y'all, and it still fuck the other side. Even though I love boxing too.